Oh, our Wildaf Melody. Let's put our hands together for Melody. Polly France in the So Min. That's our South African ladies. All right. So, Madam Chair, for panel discussion, I leave it with you. Take it over.
Solutions, I would like us to acknowledge a certain reality, okay? And you would all agree with me that ladies are very dynamic. And as we grow, you see a lot of us doing so many things. But then as we climb up, our numbers begin to decline. And currently, we have about 12.6% of executive positions in the mining industry worldwide, 18% of leadership roles in Ghana mining sector. I think Catherine has added on to that. But you see, because the numbers are, it's just one person, it's just it's infinitesimally small. Did I just say that? I'm sorry. But I just want you to see the reality, okay? So pardon me if I'm a bit drastic in my choice of words. And I just want you to know that women in Ghana's mining sector face significant barriers, including gender bias, limited access to training. And that is why I'm so excited, because unfortunately we didn't mention KNUST, but all of us, a lot of us here are coming from KNUST, isn't it? That is the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. So I'm very passionate about this topic, because we cannot have women in leadership if they are not trained, if they are not skilled. Because it's not just about having a gender in a position. It's about having the people who can deliver in the position. You understand me? And so this is a very important thing. So having shared with you, today we are here to discuss the challenges, opportunities, and most importantly, the solutions for supporting women in leadership roles, okay, with particular emphasis on the Ghanaian context. So that is how it's going to be. So I thank God for our MC. She said, pick your pens and paper. We are not just going to mention, when I was coming with Prof. Ponyo, he said, Ghanaians talk a lot, and we do. It's amazing to speak, but we have to back it with what? What? I can't hear you. Action now. Okay, so that's what we are going to do. So not to bore you so much, we just go straight into the discussions. So I would ask my very first thank you very much. Maybe you would introduce yourself, and then, but before you answer the question. So the first thing is that, what are the most significant barriers, in your opinion, preventing women from advancing to leadership roles in the extractive industry? Yes. So you mention your name, and then we'll take it from there.
Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mary Asante Asamoah. I'm Executive Director at Barbex. This topic is very interesting because I sit here as minority. I come from the arts background. This is me with a degree in political science and international relations, working in Washington, D.C., doing policy work, and then deciding to come. So coming into mining, woman, arts background, and then, of course, they tell me I don't have the local experience, right? You don't know the things on the ground. You're just coming. So when I joined the industry, I felt really intimidated. The imposter syndrome is very real. It's like you don't belong. You know, what are you doing here? So these are my realities. I just felt like I didn't have what it takes to be in the industry. But this is from 2008. I mean, it's been, 16 years. I think the key realities for me has been actually learning, understanding where you're coming from, and then putting in the work, actually studying. I had to read, I had to understand that I didn't know much. I had to humble myself and learn from industry experts and all of that. But in terms of barriers to their industry, I think key ones that we can talk about, first of all, is just the cultural bias that we start with. I mean, right from growing up, when you talk to girls, it's like, oh, I want to be a teacher, I want to be... There are those things. Even the idea of a woman being in the industry is not, it doesn't come to you immediately. So that's one of the things. Another thing I think for me is just the system and the lack of opportunities, or just the workplace policies. They're just, it's not favorable enough, so it doesn't even attract women to the industry. Education and training is another thing where most ladies, I mean, STEM, yes, I know I'm an arts program, but most ladies will not even think of going for the engineering and all these science programs, right? So that's another key one. A fourth for me will probably be the lack of mentors. You haven't seen people do it, so you don't even know that it exists, or those opportunities exist for you to even attempt to go into the industry. I think that's another one. So the experience from the women leaders who have done it, they're very few, as the statistics show. We're talking less than 9%. But for those who've done it, share your painful stories and share the achievements as well, so that you attract others to the industry. And maybe the final point for me will be the working environment. I mean, we go down to the various things like washrooms for ladies or changing rooms for ladies. The environment is usually not conducive for ladies, so that's a significant barrier. I think we've made some progress in the industry, little progress, work to be done, but those are some of the barriers that I would list: the cultural bias, workplace policies, experience from women leaders, lack of mentors, and the working environment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wow, that's really great. Thank you. So next, Mom, would you like to add any of these challenges?
Thank you very much.
Your name?
My name is Melody, and the National Programs Coordinator for WILDAF Women in Law and Development in Ghana. Yes. I'd like to add a few things. She spoke about the systemic discrimination stemming from myths and negative misconceptions about the place of women in society, and which, manifests in some of the notions we have about the extractives, the women's place in the extractive industry. Beyond that, I also like to add on about issues of workplace violence, which is one of the issues that, undermine women's advancement in the sector. Many of us are victims or survivors of sexual and gender-based violence in the workplace, sexual assault, harassment, and most of the times you're so afraid, to report or to take these matters up because we fear intimidation, we fear that our reputations will be ruined, or, that will be shamed. Those who are brave enough, to even take these matters up, they are shamed, and all of these things. So these contribute to, our inability to advance in the sector. Then there's also in the informal sector, I think, the issue of labor violence. Some people work, women, but the employers refuse to pay them. These are all issues, that undermine women's advancement or women's representation in leadership positions within the sector. I also like to add on the issue of access to and control over resources within the sector. The extractives is one area that is very capital intensive, So you talk about access to credit. For instance, we all know that traditionally in this country, women lag behind men when it comes to assessing credits and all of that. And so we're not able to, those who are entrepreneurs in this sector are not able to get the necessary financial, resources to be able to optimize their operations. I was reading a research report that said that due to that, you're not able to invest properly in machinery, infrastructure, safety equipment that will help us optimize, our operations. Even investments in the licensing processes, certification processes. Those are all very capital-intensive processes. And so how can you become a leader in your field if you don't have what it takes to be able to, again, you to use the word optimize, your operations within the space. So these are but a few things I would like to speak to.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Our sister, would you like to add a few? Or thank you very much. I think.
Hello, I think it's working. Thank you very much there. My name is Paul Franz Nesterman, and I'm the Regional Secretary of Industrial Global Union. It's an international trade union federation based in Geneva with the representation in Sub-Saharan Africa, which I lead. And then Amandla to my sisters over there that we brought from. And also thank you to the conference organizers to have actually extended an invitation to my organization. So I'm actually equally very happy to be here together with my sisters. And also to the Ghana Man workers because, they are internationally, they're affiliated to us as industrial. I'm very happy that this question, is posed. As industrial, we organize globally all the unions that organize pretty much all, the great majority of them, in the mining sector. I don't have any mining qualifications because we organize about 14 sectors, but I have worked closely with the National Union of Mine Workers in South Africa, which is one of the biggest mining union in Sub-Saharan Africa at least. The question that you posed, if I look at it from the even from the trade union perspective, it's still the same picture. And then therefore, we don't, in the mining sector, our issues as women, don't divorce themselves to what's happening to women in other sectors of the economy anyway. Yeah. It's the same thing, except that in the mining sector, it's more acute. For the reasons that my predecessors have mentioned, it's a very technical sector. It's a sector that needs really highly skilled, people. But that doesn't mean that we men do not have or cannot acquire these skills. We are, there's a lot of gender bias. We are women, we know in all of the sectors that actually we operate, there's some kind of biases anyway as women. And stereotypes as well. The sister mentioned the lack of, mentorship role. It's very true. And then also really confidence. When you see a lot of women, even when they have the skills that it takes to occupy some of this position, they feel that they don't possess, what is needed for them to be out there, So that confidence, it's true that as women, we need that nurturing space for us to build this kind of, I won't say really sisterhood, but, support system for us to be out there. And there's nothing wrong with it. We also face, with issue of double standard. I mean, what is expected from male leaders? the qualities that are expected from male leaders are not appreciated when they are female leaders. I'm a regional secretary, actually. I'm the first one in Sub-Saharan Africa. There are not many women who actually want to occupy this position. That's because the minute you are there, there are very high expectations of you. Just like all of the women here, my sisters, who spoke, who occupy very, high position, in some sectors, banking sectors and the mining sector in here. If you have some of the qualities that they expect this quality to be men qualities, you face difficult, it's going to be difficult for you to be even accepted because you're not supposed to be as women to be this tough, this demanding, you'll be labeled. It makes it difficult for a lot of women who actually don't come from, or who come from a certain background, to be labeled as such, and then so they struggle, in their ascending to some top leadership position. And then we also suffer from a syndrome called the imposter syndrome, where we feel that, when we are there, we don't feel worthy of being there as women, And so there's no special school for leadership. There's none. Nobody goes to school to acquire leadership. You have the traits, you sometimes even you have the skills, and then you occupy the position based on the quality and certain standards that you possess as a human being. Let's start with it. So I think it's important that for women, for us to advance in some of these specific or technical areas, there's a need to create an environment. And I'm happy that we have the Win in Manning, and that's why I was really interested in being part of this forum today, to foster this culture of confidence in women. We have to do it. And so that they see that there's nothing impossible, even in the tasks that our male leaders, have at present. There's no such thing that, some of these qualities, some of these expectations cannot be found in a woman leader. I think I'm going to pause here for now, and then perhaps when we get further. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Interesting discussions. I'd like to call Madame Adiki to come in here. So much, we have said a lot, the cultural bias, educational bias, lack of mentors, poor working environment, workplace policies, violence in the workplaces. We are not able to access some sort of financial support, self-confidence, and a whole lot. The question is, how can we address these? How can we address these? Let Adiki come in briefly for me. Thank you.
So I think you have to look at it from different dimensions. So there's the first thing I'll say is that the company or your organization will have to provide that support and that space to address that. So there's the organizational piece. But I also say that, you got to be who you are by taking what you want to be. So a lot of times, and I heard you say that we think that it's the duty of our organization to grow us, it's the duty of our organization to put us where we are. And from my experience, if you want that, most often it's not going to happen.
Okay.
Most often it's not going to happen. That's the reality. And I can see Georgina, who is heads talent development, right? I know your post is a very big one, or the long title. And it's something that I know she and I have spoken a bit about. That a lot of times, let me stand, I think, because of the slope. A lot of times we expect that our organization is going to hold our hands and say, oh, as they say in Ghana, so and so, here is the rule, go into it. It normally doesn't happen that way. You have to grow yourself, and it's important. I went to school when I was 45 years. I went back to school because I wanted to grow. And I felt that I had some gaps and I needed to build and bridge that gap. And I wasn't waiting for my company to say, well, you have this gap. Because in the first place, most often, I know my boss never had the time to sit down and discuss that with people. Because every time we spoke, we were talking about target, we were talking about issues. It wasn't all that, soft, duffy, Adiki, where do you want to be tomorrow? No, it wasn't that. So I had to take it and say, okay, I've been here for this role for 5 years. What next?
Wow.
So ask. And he said, I didn't know you wanted to do anything. I thought you loved communication. And I said, I've been doing communication for years. I've killed it. What next? And it was that what next was what really had the conversation. Okay, let's see what else can you do. So grow yourself and ask your bosses what next for you. Don't always sit down and expect your boss to come and ask you, because they may never ask you. Thank you.
Wow. So, Georgette, my boss. Thank you very much. I think she would want to, I like the way the discussion is going. Thank you, Ma.
I just wanted to share some research that we did as Women in Mining, and some of the confirmations or the responses that came across that confirmed women's complaints about sexual harassment, about discrimination, and discrimination. I always say that sometimes it's it's unconscious. The discrimination is not necessarily males discriminating against women. Or sometimes women themselves, just because of the way we have been socially brought up, so that there's a position, somebody is looking for especially exploration geologist, and then they just take one look and they are like, there are three, let me go for the male, the young man, this woman is going to, girls, So that was confirmed in the research. Also, there were complaints about reporting systems, and I think somebody mentioned it. Yeah. Not that the mines have not put the reporting systems in place, but we don't trust it.
Wow.
We don't trust it. And so we need to find independent ways of reporting systems. If I am working at Newmont, maybe I don't want to report there. Yeah, because, and also repercussions, or how do you say it? People, something happens and then you see that they draw a circle around you and so people just keep quiet about these issues. And then also in ASM. In ASM, there's a lot of work that we need to do to support our sisters, because all the things that were mentioned, access to capital, access to this, blah, blah, blah. But when you go to the regulator will tell you that I have not said that women cannot apply for concessions. But the regulator is saying, come. But let me assure you, if I am somewhere in the hinterland and I have to apply for concession, it's very possible that that lady has to ask permission from her husband. The husband, if they want to apply for a concession, is just going to get up and say, Ajwa, I'm going to Accra, or I'm going to this office. So there are certain issues that, we need to be aware of, and it's not that, we are not saying that be special, but unfortunately, women have to go through a lot. And so we need to be conscious of these and make it a little easier for them, because it is not that they cannot do it. Entrepreneurship. Mining sector is one of the most difficult places for you to get funding. Coupled with you being in a community, not educated enough, you don't own land, having the family land, your name is not on the papers. And so my young ladies, those of you who are educated and you have the chance, please, if you're buying the land, make sure your name is on the paper. Sometimes even filling forms, they are asking you, bring a bill you don't have. Come to my house, you pick the bill, whose name is on it? It's my husband's name in everything. One day I got up and I went to the post office. I said, I want a post office box. My husband said, what for? I said, I just want a bill with my name on it, because I'm tired. Every time they're asking you. So there are little nuances that we have to be conscious of
You have to be conscious of and research, read. I was in a meeting the other day, and then I heard one lady, a CEO of a telco, she says, woman, start by using your own money to buy that phone.
Yeah, that's a strong point you just made.
Yes, start by using your own money to buy that phone. And buy own iPhone money, own one gadget, learn how to use it, make use of it, use all the. Please, you see Auntie Judy here, you see me, Auntie says she's 56, we are classmates. I am expecting so much from you guys, please. There's a lot to do, so I just wanted to contribute that. And let's not forget our women in the communities. Let's push for policies. Policies are not easy, laws are not easy. Auntie Sheila is here, but at least if it's written somewhere, maybe it can make out, you can fall on it at the very least.
Thank you very much. Wow. Round of applause. Thank you.
Good morning, all. Good morning. Thank you for the lovely birthday song you sang for me. I'm so grateful. My voice is gone a bit. Yesterday was a huge celebration. I heard you talk about training. I think it's so crucial. When I entered the mining industry, some of you were not born. And in 2017, I was appointed a board member of Minerals Commission. And the first thing that we started talking about was training for our people. Having worked in the mining sector with big mines as a consultant for so long, I realized that you will send inspectors, male or female, mostly male, and the level of their knowledge was not a par with even the workers and the technical people on the mine. And so sometimes they were looked down upon. So the first thing that we started talking about, give them training, poach from the various companies, pay them well, and let them be, a par with, or even better than where they go to. Training is crucial, both male and female. Please train yourselves. Learn, read, research, so that wherever you go, you can meet the criteria. Because there's nothing like meeting someone who knows what they are talking about. It's so refreshing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. I see a lot of us, about 80% of us in this room are women. And so if we decide to own our space by giving ourselves the training, we would be able to change the statistics. That's all that I'm hearing. Because if you have to decide, it's a decision you have to make. And so you have to break that glass ceiling by yourself. Kinkring. It's true. Okay? You have to pull that down. And today, you have to make that decision. That the next level, you don't need anybody to set those targets for you. I think we are trained such that people set targets for us. But you need to break it, so that we can occupy the space, because we can do it. We can do it. Thank you so much. I am highly inspired, and I want to even do more.
Sorry, I just wanted to make a short intervention. When Georgette was speaking, something struck me, that a lot of times when roles come up, we want to tick the box 200%. How many of you have experienced that? When roles come up, I'm sure you see the adverts, then you're thinking,
I'm not
15 years, check, no. Check, no. So there's no role that actually I've taken that I ticked the box 100%. I didn't. And did I think that I didn't? Yes, I went to the people, I shouldn't apply. I'm like, come on, the guys apply. We sat in, so one thing I always say that we all sat in class with my sweet mind, didn't we? Yeah, but hey, we did well, didn't we? And as I told someone, we sat in class and were first, and the boys were 10th, so it means we can do it. Of course, some of the boys were first, but generally girls were also doing well, but when we come out, we think we can do it. So please don't wait to check all the boxes. You're not going to check it. And if you want to check it all, then you're never going to go anywhere. Will you be afraid? Of course. When I was appointed vice president, actually, I used to sit on my bed. I remember, jump and I said, oh my God, I'm in trouble. I'm being very realistic. I just want you to know that there was fear. But as I look back, I said, but I did this, I was able to, so I can do it. Then I had to learn. And gradually, it wasn't easy, but we made it. So please, don't wait to check the box. The guys don't wait to check the box. They see they can do 30% very confidently. Then when they take it, they say, so please, that's what I like to
Thank you very much. I'll quickly like to come to Mary. Hello.
Hello. Yes. Sometimes, I think we have to be careful. It's wonderful to see some of us or our, elders who have actually made it, but I'm sure we all know where we all come from as women, and then our cultural background, and then some of the obstacles that we even have, in our community. Some of us are, lucky. I'm a feminist. I live it, and then I strive for what I believe in. That's personal, and that's also due to some of the support that I had growing up. But I can tell you, a lot of the women, even that I've come with, or that are left behind in the mining sector, do not have that opportunity. Some of even the young women who have degrees, technical degrees and all that, when they have, some of these technical jobs, cannot actually, climb the corporate ladder. That's because the husbands that you have mentioned, the in-laws that you have mentioned, they have this obstacle. Why is your wife, have to climb this ladder and then you are who you are? Sometimes it's not acceptable, in some culture to accept that the women will earn more than the husband, or the women will have, we have escalated, in her career path will be at a certain level and her husband will be. It's not acceptable. It puts you in a very difficult, situation. Some of us who are lucky enough to have a husband who have accepted that this is who I'm married with, good for us. But we should not forget that it's there, and it's the reason why, even if we have 90% of young women who graduate at technical schools and university, you will have only 10% still who will be able to climb this ladder. So we have to be, aware of that.
Yeah, and that actually is sending me to my next question. So we all admit that there are these biases, okay? We all admit. But how can we advance inclusivity at the industry level? And maybe I would like Mary to take it up, and then so you just launched it, okay? How can we create this kind of inclusivity at the industry level, even in our communities and so on and so forth?
Okay, so I think we've all said that it starts with a mindset. For you, as the individual, first of all, accepting that I can do this, that pushes you. But in terms of inclusivity and the industry, I think it starts with cultural change, getting into, let's say, having programs like this, inviting the men, making sure that they are part of us. Because sometimes we discuss these things and it's just us. You state the problem, you state the solution, but it's still just us. Meanwhile, the problem is out there, and we need to change the culture. So,
wow. So you think we should invite men?
Yes.
To such conferences?
I think so. It's important because we're doing the same thing. We are talking inclusivity, and yet we've left them out. Let them come to the table. In fact, make them ambassadors when it comes to some of these things to champion the cause, right? And then they influence their peers as well. And I think slowly that's how we change the mindset. It's key to do that.
Wow.
And then in terms of policy, I was happy to see was it about 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, we had the policy, the dialogue with the minister trying to include more women participation in leadership or something. I don't remember. Georgette is going to get me, but yes. But there was a roundtable discussion with the minister trying to influence policies. That's another way of changing the culture. If it's made into law, if the law is there, the people will be forced to, bring certain changes. So it's key for us to execute pressure. Let's push them. Let's keep doing that. And then also, maybe recognizing and celebrating our achievements. Let people understand, hey, Adiki has done this person is doing this. Let's make noise. I think that also changes the culture and, promotes inclusivity. Also, I think one of the problems you talked about was the work environment and it not being conducive enough for ladies to begin with. So just like some of the mines have started doing, have the daycare at the mines, like do things that make it attractive for women to want to belong, right? So I don't go into mining because no, they won't allow me to bring my child, all of that. But if we have the daycare, if we have, the right policies where maternity leave is extended, things to make it attractive for the ladies, I think that will also help. Then I wouldn't want to be a stay-home mom or, just make mining more attractive for the ladies as well. That affects the mindset. So those are the four
Wow,
things.
thank you. Wow. Before I come to Melody, I want to go to Paul. So how have you dealt with this menace at your place? I really want to know. Is it that you leave your husbands? Yeah, I told you to be careful because I'm going to go a bit wild. I just want us to know.
Thank you very much. Please don't send this to my husband because, when I talk about support system for young women and going to adulthood, it's very important. And mine actually came from my father. That's why I agree that we have to have situations where we also have men here. Fortunately or fortunately for us to achieve what we want, we need our fathers. It starts with them. My mother is very patriarchal, by the way, but my father was the one who actually, encouraged me to be who I wanted to be in life. So I pushed boundaries, and then I'm still pushing boundaries. So it's important for young women to see that it's actually possible. But when they see that, even when it's possible, but from the religious background, because don't also forget that we also have that as a barrier for women emancipation, whether you are Muslim, Christian, whatever religion to have you, we have that. And unfortunately, many of our religious beliefs don't believe that the women's role in society is to, be equal to that of men. We have to accept that. So a lot of these things have helped me. And then I really have a husband. It's unfortunate sometimes when I travel, because every week I'm outside of South Africa. That's where I stay, even though I'm from next door. I'm an Ivorian. The first question people ask me is, I saw you last week here, this week there. I feel sorry for your husband. But they don't feel sorry for me, who have back problems because I've been sitting for 9 hours or 10 hours on a plane and then trying to do my job, So I think it's important that as women who were exposed in some of this environment, do share our experiences with women, and so that they see that it's possible. My husband hasn't divorced me yet, even though many times I've asked for a divorce certificate. He's still there because the money is also good for the family. So I'm saying, mothers who are here, it's important that we encourage our daughters. Fathers, I've read a report last week, and I'm sorry if I'm taking some time. It's still a director of AMREF. At some point, he was invited into a panel, and the panel was pretty much predominantly male, panelists. When he arrived and he observed that, he said, this is no longer going to happen, because the discussion was about, sustainability and then the role of, the care economy and all that, in our societies. Who actually are the people who are overwhelmingly representing the care economy? They're women. Why do you have a panel when you want to talk about us without us being present? It's not possible. So he came, as a man, he decided that he's going to step off the stage. He was begged to come back. He said, until you find a woman to sit here to talk about this issue, I am not going to be part of this panel. So these are some of the champions we need. But unfortunately, when he spoke about his story, he talked about how important his mother's role in his upbringing was. Okay? Which is beautiful. Unfortunately, when men talk about women, they talk about their mothers. They don't talk about their wives. Because when they go to the workplace, they expect, when they see their women colleagues, it's like an extension to their home. So they treat us as wives, and they expect us to behave that way. Submissive, and then all the things. And that's why, the workplace environment is impossible. It's very difficult for women to navigate. I was sharing my story with the women, because we have 2 days conference, and I was telling my first job when I came into because I was an assistant. He came to me and I said, "May I have can you serve me some coffee?" And I looked at him, my boss, and then I said, "Just give me a second." I went to the office, grabbed my contract, brought it to him, and I said, "Where is it written that I have to make coffee for you in that contract here?" So instead of coffee that he was expecting when I opened the office door, it was my contract to say, if this is part of my contract, I'll do it. If it's not, go to the kitchen. In case you need a map, I can draw one for you. But you can go to the kitchen. And I replaced this person today. And then he ended up being very respectful, humble, and then a beautiful person and a man to work with. So I can say that, we have to dare as women. We do. We are not wives of our colleagues. We are not expected to make coffee or tea for them. We are expected to provide the same level of skills at the workplace.
It's getting hot here. It's getting hot. In Ghana, some places, if you go and break your contract, you are sacked. You are sacked. Yeah, so it will take a lot of guts to do that. But, there's supposed to be a good balance, I think. There are different ways to... I wish we could delve a bit into that, because you also need a lot of wisdom because of the kind of generation we find ourselves. Remember, people have created sports. We need to secure those sports and even create more. And so there's a lot of work on us, And so I love what you did, but I think you have to navigate in a very interesting way, depending on the culture and where you find yourself. So I always encourage my students, wherever you go, study the rules and regulations of a place. Do you understand me? Sometimes somebody may be genuinely in need and you have to give some help. If you realize that certain things are going overboard, you work on it. But thank you very much. So it's getting hot. I can't believe this. Melody, so from your perspective, do you think, Adiki told us that, the company is not going to say that, well, we need this person who has these skills and qualities to fill this role, and so we are going to train you for it. They actually want it already prepared, cooked. Okay, so how do you think we can, from the discussions we have held so far, from the industry point of view, community, everything, prepare ourselves to include women, apart from whatever has been said so far?
All right, thank you very much. In my view, all the beautiful things that you have said here will likely not happen if there's no commitment from the leadership. We need, for organizations, we need our leaders to model a vision of commitment to ensuring women's leadership and inclusion within the extractive, sector. Otherwise, all the things, you can have all the skills, that you want. You can be assertive as much as you want, but if there's no commitment, if there's no leadership, that whatever you're looking for is highly unlikely to happen. Additionally, I think that there has to be an industry-wide, inclusion policy and strategies that will set, standards for acceptable behavior, as far as women's leadership and inclusion within the sector is concerned, and ensure that these are in alignment with current or existing inclusion policies and strategies at the national level. I think that's one of the key ones that we are currently pushing. Thankfully, Auntie Sheila is here, is the Affirmative Action Gender Equality Bill, which I'm sure she'll speak to when she comes. And so we need to have all of these things. And with the accompanying tools, we need to have tools that will enable us to enforce these strategies and policies when they are made. Thankfully, there are some already in the system. You look at the UN system, and they have their UN webs, that have their own principles and standards and indicators that you can track, to see how far you're doing in terms of promoting women's leadership and inclusion within the workplace, within our businesses, and then also, by extension, within the extractive industry. I also think that there has to be a consistent, norms shifting or change campaign within the extractive industry, starting with ourselves. We need to take a step back and look at, our own value systems. What are our own beliefs, and practices that we hold very dear? And how do these either cause or drive, the exclusion of women, women who don't look like us, women who are different, for instance, from this sector. So we need to do all of that to be able to facilitate women's leadership within the sector.
Thank you very much. Because of time, I think I'll give 1 minute to each of my panelists to just wrap up the entire discussion, and then we'll zoom into questions and answers. Thank you. So, can I start with you, Paul?
Thank you very much. I think, the sisters pretty much said it all. It's important that we create also for women, we foster environmental, open dialogue. We have to create, equal opportunities, for women in the various sectors, and then that's actually by extension to even to the labor movement, because it's also highly masculine and highly patriarchal. We have to also build, as the sister said, inclusive settings. And then a lot of the policies that we are putting in place, we have to make sure that, our voices as women, is really included in some of these policies. Because a lot of the time, it's men who decide what's best for us. And then so when you read some of the policies, it's really absent from any, gender specific, notion in some of these policies. And then there's one last thing that I wanted to mention. We have the Africa Mining Vision, for instance, which policy document is, we seldom talk about. And in this policy document, even in the labor movement, we seldom do it. And I think it's about time that we pull this policy document that have gathered dust over the years, and then we implement it. Some of it speaks to, access to finances even for people, and by extension for women in communities. So if we start there, we cannot have a situation where we exclude even those disadvantaged women in communities to have access and to benefit from these policies that are there. I'm going to stop it, here for now.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Mary?
All right, so I think we've discussed a lot, and for me, it's making our voices count. You say you want to give us a seat at the table, that's fine, but it shouldn't just be just to tick numbers and say we have 30% women representation. I feel it should be actually implement, the suggestions that we give. That's key. And then just using my own experience, some of the key realities I faced. First thing is that turning point starts with you. You deciding that I want to go out there, I want to get this. It starts with you. You have to change your mindset. And then understand that you're working with people. People management, whether you're a male or female leader, there are things that you need to know about people, and it's important that you study it and understand. Also, be visible and approachable. Be involved in the industry.
Yeah.
Right now, we're blessed with social media. Nobody can dim your shine when it comes to social media. Write what you know. Put yourself out there. Use LinkedIn to your advantage. You'll be surprised at the opportunities that will come knocking. I think another one will be, you won't be confident all the time. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, what am I doing here? But yes, you won't be confident all the time, but sometimes you just need to put yourself out there. I remember sitting in the Chamber of Mines room, corner. Just go out there and let's increase those statistics, please.
Thank you so much. I think I'm very generous with my time. Yeah. Please, Melody.
Yes, thank you very much. I think a lot has been said about what we can do at the individual level to advance women's leadership within the sector. But I do believe that most of us here are also entrepreneurs. We are employers. We also employ people. And so we shouldn't treat inclusion and leadership of women as an afterthought. It is also a business imperative alongside our profit and economic and legal and even philanthropic, imperatives. We need inclusion for our businesses to be successful.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Madam Adikidi, would you like to say something? We should zoom in. All right. Thank you. So we have about some few minutes.
All right, so my question is, all this discussion is towards gender parity in leadership. So how are we going to measure? And how would we know that we've achieved gender parity? And who would measure that? And for what? Thank you.
Good morning.
I'm Regina Nambaho from Namibia, Mine Workers Union of Namibia.
Wow.
I'm very delighted, and looking at the theme of the event is exploration to restoration. And then the main one is that women contribution to sustainable development. When I say sustainable development, I think about the transitioning world that we are in today. And in that case, is that transition just? And I look, when I talk about
is that transition?
Is a transition just?
Okay, just.
With the focus on the human rights due diligence that we need to do as mine workers and labor movements as well. So the women's rights are within the human rights due diligence. In the workplaces, I'm a mine worker. I want to pose a question to you, my fellow ladies from the mining industry. When we say that we want to break the glass ceilings, and there is an issue of the women's rights that we are being deprived of in the mining sector, what do you do in terms of the women's rights violations? The women's rights, not human rights. They're women's rights, even if women's rights are also human rights. Do you have measures to deal with that in the workplaces? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Is Ntabiseng Mashiteng from the National Union of Mine Workers in South Africa. I've read the discussion that talks to supporting women in leadership roles, and it's also talked to breaking through the glass ceiling and overcoming barriers. My question in terms of it would be, we are saying we're supporting the women that are in the leadership. But then my question would be, the women in the leadership, are they creating conducive spaces for inclusion of the women that are coming into the industry?
Thank you.
Because we cannot talk to people including us, but when we are in the leadership, I'm saying this because from the union perspective, we are always fighting for women to be included there. But when these same women that we fought for to be in that positions, they become something else. They forget where they are coming from. Are there women in the leadership creating spaces and bringing someone with them? Are they creating opportunities for these young women to break all these barriers that are there in the leadership? Thanks.
Thank you very much. All right. So we have our question about the...
Thank you very much. I think that in my earlier submission, I did mention that there are already tools within the system that you can either wholesale adopt or adapt to suit your peculiar circumstances. I can give the example of the UN Women Empowerment Principles. It's one of the tools that, has all the domains that you need, to take a look at, to facilitate inclusion. The tool also has indicators, that you can use to track, how well you're doing in terms of inclusion, in your sector. So these are there, but it also takes the commitment from your organization to say that indeed we want to do inclusion and we want to, strategize and maybe adapt or adopt these tools to use for that.
Thank you very much. Please, are you okay? Let's give a round of applause. Thank you so much. So there are tools we can, pardon? The how. It's actually getting access to it, and she's giving you a pointer to that document. I think we can discuss that during the snack break. Is that okay, Nana? Thank you very much. Okay. So is a transition just? Thank you. Paul would answer that.
No, it is not, because, we don't, right now, first of all, we have to clarify something. I mean, it's a word that is used very loosely, usually by capital, because they want to say that whatever we're going through is already just, so that the roles of communities, of workers, is not even embedded in some of the policies that are coming out in the just transition. Workers, we have to make sure that the voice of workers, women and men, is included,
So, we have very huge expectations. We expect them to change things. And then on the other side, they are in these new positions. They have responsibilities. There are things that the business expects of them. So I feel for them, and I think when they say it's lonely at the top, it's actually true. But we know the challenges. We know the barriers. We've talked about it. One person can't really do much. And I think this is where, let's get biblical, but one puts away 1,000, 2, 10,000, right? There's power in numbers. And I think that's why we should take advantage of groups like Women in Mining, because it's getting our voice heard as women. It's not one lady going up and expecting her to make the change, but it's all of us coming together to push for policy change, push for certain things. So it's the numbers. So that's one way. Let's put our voices, let's come together and make the change. But also, mentorship is key. It's one way to hold people's hands. And I think Women in Mining has done a fantastic job with the mentoring program. You'd be surprised that very key people in the industry, the ladies at the top, they are the mentors available. I was very surprised and a little intimidated when I was told Georgette was my mentor, because I'm like, no, I didn't expect it to go that far. I just wanted somebody to, but they are available. And so it's for us to take that opportunity. It's there. So make yourself available and learn from them. It's another way to move up as well. So that's it for me. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Talking about mentorship and women leadership, helping others, Auntie Judy here is a typical example, because Auntie Judy was the one who gave Madam Georgette the opportunity to start working in the mining industry
Wow.
at age 26.
Wow.
Saw the potential in her. I don't have the full story, but I want to believe that she wasn't all up there. At age 26, 25, greenhorn, probably from the university with no experience, but somebody held her hand. Somebody gave her the opportunity. Somebody led the way. That is all that we are asking for. So Auntie Judy here is a typical example, and our president has enjoyed that. Let's put our hands together once again for Auntie Judy.
Yeah, and I think there are even more testimonies, isn't it? Because for me, Auntie Joyce held my hands, and I was less than 20 years. And there's Prof. Grace Ofori Sapon, right? If I have a fellowship with OWSD, it's because she has decided to guide me. And when I say decided to guide me, maybe you may not understand. I am a very stubborn person. You know those people you want to mentor and they also want to mentor you. So that is it. Yeah, can we take more questions? Just a few more. Oh,
It's me.
we finished that. So thank you.
Please, so. Good day, everyone. My name is Newon Kone from the Republic of South Africa, and I'm working for the company called Harmony. My question might be a little more different from the others, Mary. It's still going to be the part of us. Let me just take you through in a second to in the mining industry. We work underground, and underground you're supposed to be working 8 hours before you can end your shift. So my main concern is that underground we breathe artificial air. So imagine breathing that artificial air for 8 hours. So I'm coming to my question. How are we going to help our sisters who are pregnant so that they can report early when they are pregnant so that they can move out from underground? In South Africa, we are experiencing a problem of pregnant ladies who report their pregnancy at the later stage of about 7 to 8 months. Imagine breathing that artificial air with the baby inside. And then the problem that we are facing after that, after their maternity leaves, when they are supposed to come back to work, it will be a story of that the child is having complications now from that environment of being underground with the baby. Now the person will be able now to move up and down to the specialist to take care of the health of the baby. So my question is, how are we going to help our fellow sisters so that they can report early? Imagine, we are not doing this for all of us. We are not doing this for us. We are doing this for the future children that will be working in the mines and the industries. So imagine if those future kids and children that we are preparing the way for them, they are not going to be able to achieve what their mothers and their fathers did. So the question is how to help them so that they can report early.
Thank you very much. We'd like to throw this question to the audience. Madam Adiki, would you like to start? Did I put you on spot? Georgette? Oh, everybody is quiet.
They put their thoughts together. Let me quickly say this. So I think, for starters, underground mining is quite prevalent in South Africa, in Ghana, AngloGold Ashanti, and Takwa, Chirano, all right. So there are a few. Newmont is also doing underground. But what is key, I want to believe, is the policies at the company level. There should be policies to take care of these women. You know, when the CEO of the chamber was talking, he mentioned the fact that they are interested in diversity and inclusion. But at the award level, I don't know if Minerals Commission is still here. I think that MINCOM and the chamber should do more. they need to put in policies that would push the mining companies to be able to, take care of women. Whether it's inclusion, whether it's their health, whether it's God knows what. The chamber and Mincom needs to do more. I know that most of these companies, because they are international companies, have these policies in place to take care of women. But then, is it even working? That's the question. If it is not working, who is policing these companies? Who is policing these companies? That is the biggest question. Who is policing these companies? Mincom, Chamber, please help us. So, Madam Georgette, I don't know, Adiki, if you want to add to it.
Okay, so can we take the audience and come back to you? Thank you. Thank you.
This is a very important question, but it's a very difficult one as well. This is all about maternal protection, and I think that like 3 months ago, we had detailed roundtable with the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources about, maternal protection for the women in the mines, and we came out with some suggestions, which we are presenting to the minister. But one of the issues that sometimes we have also is when we put out some surveys trying to get information from our ladies, sometimes the response is not upcoming, When we had this roundtable with the Ministry of Land, it was the advisor from the ministry who was there. And we were privileged to have a lady decide to share her story of miscarriage after miscarriage. So at that point, we asked all the journalists to move out or turn off their cameras. And so later on, the government official was shocked. He was very surprised. So sometimes some of these issues we discuss amongst ourselves, like we've said. But the realities and the examples, the graphic examples, do not really reach where they need to. We don't have to even go that far. These are things that should be known. And so I think that women in mining, we have to go back to the regulator, and wherever, which countries you are coming from as well, is the regulator. I see it as a regulator that can direct and give direction. Also, somebody asked about data on who is doing what in the industry. So Women in Mining has asked the Minerals Commission to redesign their reporting. We just don't want to see 10% women. 10%, what are they doing? What are these women doing? Which roles are they? What grades are they? And going forward, in 5 years' time, you've increased this mine, you've managed to get this number of women in this grade or what. So I think that Minerals Commission, Mr. EC is not here, but Auntie Judy is here. So somehow we are talking to the... Yes. So we need to pay attention to this. These are real issues. That's all I can say. Yeah.
Thank you very much. It's a regulator kind of... Can we put our hands together for, yes, our president? Thank you very much, Ma. Can we take it there?
The first question, South Africa, I'm going to come to that. Before we talk about any regulation or anything, have Ghana ratified some of these maternity conventions? The first thing. If they have, then it is for also the government and all the stakeholders, the trade unions, to play their roles. You have CBAs, you have company policies. I mean, the CBAs is stronger because actually once a convention is ratified, it has to be domesticated. Then, in the domestication, then you go into the implementation. So trade unions have a central role in making sure that when the convention is ratified, domesticated, in its implementation, they play this policy role. And then there has to be, a reporting mechanism for, some of the policymakers to also be aware of what's happening because we have reporting cases. If it doesn't come to them, they wouldn't know. That's the first thing. The second thing is Ghana has yet to ratify Convention 176, which is a convention that is specific to the mining sector. It's about safety in the mines. And then when you say safety in the mines, we're talking about, women, health and safety issues, workers, safety issues, because the mining sector is a very specific, sector of activity. The other core convention that the ILO has ratified about 3-4 years ago is the health and occupational health and safety core convention. So we don't take opportunities in some of those conventions that have been ratified or that are the core convention. Our governments fail, to domesticate them, and then once they domesticated them because they have ticked the boxes, they failed even to implement them.
Yeah.
And in our role as the labor movement also, because we also have to be blamed because we don't play our roles at the workplaces in making sure that the company adhere to some of these regulations.
Thank you very much. Making sure that the company adheres to the policies. Thank you so much. I would have loved to take more questions. Forgive me, but our time is fast spent. We've actually eaten into our snack time. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for...
And Chair Barbara, you've done a wonderful job. Thank you very much. Our snacks just arrived. They are trying to set up. And so whilst they set up, would want to quickly chip in